Hello, beautiful, beautiful people. Um, I wanted to do a different video. I've been wanting to do this video um, for quite some time now, but I pulled away from the video because I wasn't quite ready for people to know that side of me. Um, Basically, it's a video about my health and for like reasons why I have not um, been able to upload a video to YouTube. So, first part of this, but today I wanted to give you guys a deeper look into who Shia really is. So, first and foremost, I am medically retired from the military, U.S. Army. Um, I did not want to get out at that time. I was told by my doctors that I had to get out. Well, at that time, it was just my knees and my back. My job was a 92 Alpha, which breaks down into logistical work. So, some people will call me a pencil pusher, but that's not all that I really did. I hung around mechanics so that anytime I was out on mission, I knew how to fix my own truck. I knew how to fix my own whatever because they may not be around all the time. I may get stuck somewhere and I need to know how to get myself out. I was never the prissy type female who was like, oh, well, I just got my nails done, so I can't do this. No. I love to get like dirty and everything. Like I enjoy getting underneath the truck. I enjoy doing oil changes. I enjoyed all of that stuff. Like I enjoyed working on refrigerator units. I enjoyed working on the our generator units. Like I enjoyed all of that. So at the time of me getting out, it was just my left and my right knee and my spine that was giving me issues. And my doctors told me then, this was back in 2012. My doctors told me that the cartilage in both of my knees was wearing down, and they didn't want to do the surgery because this was their excuse. I know the reason they didn't want to do it because they knew if they messed me up, that would, be their job on the line. But they told me they didn't want to do the surgery while I was in because there was a slight chance that no. Yeah, there was a slight chance that my recovery would be successful. I was like, okay. I kind of, I had to suck it in because I was just like, all right, I don't want to get out, but I'm being told that I have to. So, um, I don't even remember how I hurt my back. It's no telling. I did so much craziness that I probably should not have been doing in the first place, but I enjoyed what I did. I enjoyed being in the military. Like I enjoyed being the adrenaline junkie that I was. I mean even if I wasn't in my 20s, I would have enjoyed being an adrenaline junkie. Like I enjoyed everything that I experienced in the military. Excuse me. So fast forward into the summer of 2012. I'm officially retired. I'm in my early 20s and I'm retired. So I moved back to Georgia with my parents, and things are going okay medically. The pain still there, knees grinding or slipping out of the socket and sticking. Like there are sometimes like my left knee would literally slip out of the socket and it would stick for like 5 minutes. And when I tell you, if you've never had that experience, thank God that you've never had that experience, because that is something that you would not want to experience. It's bad enough when your knee slides out of the socket. If you've ever had a dislocation, whether it was your knee, your shoulder, your hip, whatever, you know how painful it is. But to have it, it's not even dislocate, it'll just slip and stick. Like it's halfway out, but it's sitting there. And you can't move. You can't move it in, you can't wiggle it, you can't do anything but sit on the floor and cry. Because it's just gonna sit there until it's ready to slip back in. And it hurts even worse when it slips back in. So if you've never experienced that, thank the Lord God Almighty, because that is something that I would never want anyone to experience. But if you have experienced that, then you know exactly where I'm coming from. That is extremely painful, and it causes a lot of damage in the long run. Well, a couple of years go by, and I'm getting back into working out the way I used to. I was doing yoga, I was doing Pilates, I would walk 8 miles a day. I would literally get up at like 4:30, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm out of the military, but I was still getting up the exact same time that I would get up to do PT. I put on my PT shorts and my PT shirt and my reflective belt, and I'd get out and I'd walk 4 miles in the morning and 4 miles at night. Now this is when I moved back to Clarksville. Um, I've never been the type of person that likes to go out and walk in the dead of the day when the sun is at its peak, because that's just too hot and you're gonna have a heat stroke or whatever. It doesn't matter how much water you have, that is too hot. So I would always go early in the morning before a day. I just had a cadence pop in my head. Wow. I would always go early in the morning, like before a day, and I would go. I'm sorry, my dog just ran in here like she just did something, or she just seen something. I don't know. But I would go early in the morning before day, and then I go in the afternoon once the sun is started to set. And like, well, let me pause. Before I would go for my walk, I was I have, well, I don't have anymore. I have to get another 360. I would have like my Xbox 360, and I had the Black Eyed Peas experience. Now, this was one of my favorite dancing games, the Black Eyed Peas experience and the Michael Jackson experience. Now, I didn't so much do the Michael Jackson experience because that man, first of all, rest in peace to Michael. That man right there could move. Like, forget about the moves like Jagger. Let's talk about the moves like Michael. My my brother and I tried to do the Michael Jackson experience on the Wii. First of all, whoever decided to put the Michael Jackson experience on a Wii, you you stupid, because it's a pain in the butt doing that on the 360. To do that on the Wii is annoying because I wasn't used to holding something in my hand while I dance. Okay, so now I have to hold this thing in my hand, and I'm not thinking about the little stupid strap. So, okay, we just gonna pretend that my Xbox One controller is a Wii controller. Nowhere near the same doggone size, first of all. We just gonna pretend this half over here is is the Wii controller, and there's a strap that's supposed to go around your wrist. First of all, I'm not used to that. I play video games, so if I'm dancing, I'm used to dancing with my Connect, not with a controller in my hand. So I have this controller in my hand, and I'm trying to dance, and I keep hitting myself in the face. That right there was annoying. That kept irking my nerves. So I was like, you know what? I can't do this. And then too, um, I was never part of the Jackson family, so my moves were not as good as Michael's. Cause one, I have this strap that keeps hitting me in my face. Two, I'm out of breath. It's not that I was out of shape, by far. No, I'm exhausted from trying to keep up with Michael and his dancing. I have all the love and respect. I love his music, everything. But to do the Michael Jackson experience on the Wii, I would never again do it. Never again. But I would do the Black Eyed Peas experience. Now, that was one of my favorites. And what I started doing, um, I would do the Black Eyed Peas experience twice a day. I would do it in the morning before I would go on for my walk. I would do. I started out doing it in my tennis shoes, and then I'd have my Camelback, which, for people who don't know what a Camelback is, all it is just it's what military personnel use to keep their water on, and it's convenient because we can just put it on our back. It's I'm not gonna say it's like a backpack because it's not a backpack. You don't. I mean, you can put your phone in it if you want, but I always had my phone on my armband because I was always listening to music. That was how I always got my day started. So, whenever I can find mine, I will gladly show you what a camera pack looks like, but I have to find it. So, moving on, I would I would do the Black Eyed Peas experience, and I like evolved to doing it in the morning times with stilettos. Now, so I would do that, and at first I was like, I don't think I'm about to walk 4 miles after dancing with heels on. It was an experience, and honestly, I had fun doing it. Like, I would literally do at least 10 songs in the morning. I would dance to 10 songs in the morning and maybe like 15 in the afternoon. It depends. Like, it would honestly, it would depend. Like, sometimes I do the Black Eyed Peas experience twice a day. Sometimes I would just do it in the morning, and I do like Connect Adventures in the afternoon or like later on at night. But yeah, like I would dance to like 10 songs in the morning with heels on, and then I'd take my heels off, and then put on my socks and then my tennis shoes, and then I'd go for a walk 4 miles. 4 miles. And like honestly, what kept me going was my music. It kept me going, and like half the time I'm like jamming to my music and I don't realize it. And there'll be some days where I walk 6 miles that morning. because I'm listening to music. I have a steady flow. And a lot of people, they don't realize, like, when you're working out, I don't know how people can work out in silence. Like, I can't work out in silence. I can't even do homework in silence. I can't study in silence. I can't sleep in silence. I have to have noise. Like, I have to. And so for me, that music has always been part of my life. It's always been like my motivation to just keep going. It doesn't matter what kind of music I'm listening to. Like, there'll be some mornings where I'm listening to my Christian music while I'm walking, or I listen to like Kaylin and Miles, or I listen to like 90s music. Like, I'm talking NSYNC, Backstreet, Mandy Moore, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, 90s Tony Braxton music. Like, what else? New Kids on the Block. Like, stuff like that. Like, back when music actually made sense to me, now the stuff they call music makes no sense to me. It does not. None of it does. Um, but that's what kept me going. And I, I was pregnant by my ex thing. And even though he was a deadbeat, he made sure I ate, I took my vitamins, he made sure I was okay, but all at the same time, he was still stressing me out. So, all of the semi good deeds he was attempting to do was sitting right here underneath, like 6 feet under a whole bunch of just stress. So, it caused me to miscarry. And so, I had baby weight on me that I had to get off. And I was able to lose all of that baby weight in like literally 3 months. Like, time goes by, 3 months go by, I lose all that weight. And at the time, I was not a vegan. I was still eating meat, but I was slowly but surely like pulling away from meat. I was a vegetarian in high school for years, but I didn't know about like all the other substitutes. Now, I stopped drinking milk years ago. Years ago, and I never, looked back to like, hey, I want some fresh cow's milk. Like, I never went back to it. Um, but like at the time of like me working out, I cook differently than my parents. So like for me, like if I were to come home, like let's say I still, lived in Clarksville, and I'm coming home to see my mom and my dad. Now my cooking is different than theirs because I was cooking on a more healthier note. I know if I come home, I'm gonna get something fried. I'm gonna get some sort of collard greens. I'm gonna get some cornbread or biscuits. You know, they're not gonna be homemade. They're gonna be the ones out the can or out the bag. Cause my daddy don't make homemade biscuits anymore. He only made them. The last time my dad made homemade biscuits was back in 2008 when I came home from training. That was the last time he made homemade biscuits. Oh my gosh, thank you, Daddy. I love you so much. But like it wasn't really a diet. It was just the way that I would eat. Um, I if like I stayed away from like ground beef. Like if I would eat a burger, if I really had to have a burger, it would be ground turkey. I would always choose ground turkey over ground beef, whether it was a burger, it was in my spaghetti, or like whatever entitled ground beef. I would always use ground turkey because it's leaner. and is healthier. Now, if I had a taste for pork, I would go to Aldi's and get the thin slice um, pork chops, and I would bake them lightly. See, I'm not heavy-handed with my seasonings either. Like, I can't eat a lot of people's food because they're too heavy-handed with seasonings. If I want a mouthful of seasoning, I'll put seasoning on my food after it's done. I don't like that. And so like I would like lightly season it and pop it in the oven and just like bake it. I rarely ate chicken. Excuse me. I've never really been that big of a fan of just eating chicken like that. I eat it on occasion, but I wasn't really crazy about it. Unless it was General Tso's chicken, that was about it. Like that's about as far as I'm gonna go with my love relationship with chicken. If it's not General Tso's chicken, then no, I was not crazy about it like that. Um, I just I watched what I ate, and I was so disciplined to the point where I could literally go in my refrigerator and have ice cream and only eat 4 spoonfuls. And I'm not talking a big doggone spoon. I'm talking like a regular tablespoon. 4 scoops. And that's it. That's how disciplined I was. That's how determined I was. Like, it takes time to get there. Now, my other weakness was Mountain Dew. Anyone who knows me, they know Mountain Dew is like crack to me. I, oh my gosh, I love me some Mountain Dew. Like, it is ridiculous the relationship I have with Mountain Dew. But I even cut back on the amount of Mountain Dew I was drinking, and I would drink more water. And at the time, like I felt fine. Like my body felt fine. I didn't notice a lot of pains. I mean, yeah, I still had painful times, but for the most part, I didn't notice a lot of things that were going on with me. So fast, fast forward. I don't know what a fast forward is. Fast forward. Um, a few years later, well, I moved to um, Bowling Green, Kentucky, because I started working at Macy's warehouse. Time goes on, and one day, I think it was while I was doing overtime, and honestly, it was my own fault. I overdid it because Macy's was giving away money. It was a holiday time. Macy's was giving away money, so I'm like, I want some money. I'm not gonna sit here and lie about it and say that I didn't do it for the money. I worked overtime on days that I didn't have to work for some money. Yes, I did, because Macy's was handing out some good change, and if you was working there, you may not have done it all the days, but you would have got that extra money. So I was like, yeah, I want some extra money. It's some things I want to do. I wanted to take a little trip, go somewhere, vacation, either by myself or with my parents or something. Well, I know I wanted to get my parents some stuff from Macy's anyway, some perfume and stuff. And I felt something. It felt like it snapped in my spine. So I went to the doctor. I told my doctor about it, and she ordered MRI of my entire spine. And what they found was One, my scoliosis had, I guess, worsened from the time it was noted in my military records prior to me getting out of the military. Um, Also, right below my scoliosis was a herniated disc. So I was like, wow. They found a bulging disc in my neck, along with arthritis in my spine. So now I have, in my spine alone, I have bulging disc, scoliosis, a herniated disc, arthritis, and nerve damage. And my doctor tried to make it seem like it wasn't an issue, but I requested the images and the verbal report of my MRI. And on that last page, God bless you, that's my dog sneezing in the background. I don't know if you heard or not. On the very last page that references the herniated disc, the code was code 4, like it's exactly what it said. It said code 4, attention needed. Okay, so I called to speak to my doctor to ask about said issues. I wanted to know what was this code, like what is this code for, and why are they saying that there's attention needed? Well, first of all, excuse me, apparently when you call, you don't speak directly with your doctor. And I'm like, okay, that just sounds suspect to me because any other time I've had a primary care provider, if I need to speak with my doctor, if he or she has another patient, they will take a message, my number, my name, and my doctor will call me back and go over what needs to be addressed. Well, this particular lady, nurse, most likely an intern, didn't know her elbow from her butt. She goes, well, I can tell you what all is going on. I said, okay. Well, could you elaborate on this last page where it is referencing the herniated disc? It's saying code for attention needed. Why does it say that? She says to me over the telephone, oh, I don't know what that code means. It could mean something different with different hospitals. Okay, we're just going to put a pin in that first of all. A code is a code in hospitals. It doesn't change. Whatever that code is, that code goes from that hospital to that hospital to that hospital. So for you to say that you don't know, I don't need to talk to you. I need to speak with my doctor. I don't need. She was like, well, you can come in. I said, if I come in, am I going to talk to my doctor? Am I going to talk to you? I don't want to go over this with you. I want to go over this with my doctor. And she, this nurse apparently thinks that, well, see, she doesn't know. I'm not stupid when it comes to medical issues. First of all, my dad retired from Pennsylvania Hospital, sweetheart. I'm not stupid when it comes to anything medical. Before I can even get my hands on the verbal and digital copy of my MRI, my doctor has to sign off on it. This woman told me They only had the verbal report. Really? I don't think so. I was like, okay. Well, I'm looking at the images because like there were things that just did not look right, and I don't know if it was supposed to look like that or what the devil was going on. Like right where that herniated disc is. Oh, excuse me, eyelash touching my eye. These are all natural. I don't wear false anything on my face. Like my eyelashes are long enough. I don't need my eyelashes to touch my eyebrows. That's just too much. Um, she she was like, well, we just have the rubber report. So I began to explain to her what I seen on the images, since they only had the verbal report. I don't think so, honey. So where the herniated disc is located, it appears that my like the disc that sits right in between, like the disc that sits right there is like this, but like it's dwindling down. So I'm pretty sure that's why they said code for attention needed. I needed that explained to me and she couldn't tell me. So it really worked my nerves and I wanted to choke her out because I don't I don't appreciate you keeping information from me. If you're gonna sit here and withhold information that has to do with my health, we have an issue. I don't care if you rip the band-aid off. Rip it off because I need to know what's going on. It's my body, it's my health. I need to know. Rip the band-aid off. Don't sugarcoat it. My parents never sugarcoated anything with me. They always rip the band-aid off. I'm used to it. Rip it off. Tell me what's going on. And I felt like that my doctors were withholding information from me. So I reached out to the Paralyzed Veterans of America. And I was able to get in touch with a lady who was working with me to get my compensation increased because my body has clearly gotten worse since 2012, the initial year that I got out of the military. My body's gotten worse since then. And I sent her all the information that she needed, filled all the paperwork that I needed. And she looked at it and she compared then, like 2012 to, well, this was last year actually, when all of this started happening. And she started comparing. She said, you've gotten a lot worse. And so she started working with me so I can get my increase. Well, my doctor, as awesome as they were, they prescribed this medication to me that I did not need. And by the way, this is a there it is. This is a pillow behind me because it's very, very uncomfortable for me. So I have to have a pillow behind my back. Whether I'm sitting in a chair or I'm sitting anywhere, I have to have a pillow of some sort behind my back for extra support. So if you see me scooching, ignore me. I It doesn't matter how or where I sit. I have a tendency to just slide down for some reason or another. But the reason my parents had to literally pack up an overnight bag to come all the way to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and bring me back to Georgia was because of the medication that my doctor had me on. Now, when I initially brought the issue forward, she put me on tramadol, which, by the way, does absolutely nothing for me. I've been on so much stuff prior to the military. Like, medication does not affect me. I can't take over the counter medicine because I can just pop that all day and it does absolutely nothing for me. It's just like me popping Tic Tacs or just eating candy, like Mentos. It does nothing. It's just candy. So my doctor had me on amitriptyline and um, tramadol. Tramadol was supposed to be for pain. That's nothing for me. The amitriptyline was for depression. I was like, okay. Apparently, by me being in all of this pain, my doctor thinks I'm depressed about it. And honestly, I'm not. I've come to terms with a lot of the things that go on in my body. I'm not depressed about it. I pray about it. I don't pray about it all the time, but I pray about it sometimes. Because I'm at the point in my life, like, I'm a firm believer that Christ is going to heal me from this. I don't knock anyone for their belief. Everyone has their own belief. But I'm a Christian and I stand firm on what I believe. Everyone else stands firm on what they believe is right. So I stand firm on what I believe. And I'm like, even if I don't get healed here on earth, when I die, I won't be in pain anymore. I won't have to be on medication. I won't have to go through any of this. So, I mean, whether I get healed in this lifetime or not, I'm okay with it. Am I in pain every day? Yes. Does it bother me? To an extent. It bothers me when I can't really enjoy spending time with my dog like I want to, or clean like I want to, or work out. But am I depressed about that? No. Do I want to, cut myself for it? No. I am not a suicidal person. And any of my friends that has been around me and known me for years, anyone I've ever dated, can stand behind me and say, I have never been a suicidal person. I've always been an upbeat, bouncy person. It doesn't matter how much pain I'm in. I try to keep a smile on my face through it. Like right now, I am in the most pain I've ever been in years. Like this is a different type of pain that I'm experiencing right now. I just have a smile on my face. I'm not depressed about it. Well, because of my doctor, I became depressed. And the amitriptyline that she had me on, it's not like she started me on a low dosage. She gave me the highest dosage you can take. So here I am taking an antidepressant and a pain pill. Well, my roommate at the time, sweet lady, by the way, she was such a sweetheart, sweet country lady. When we first met, we first interacted, she seen me for me, the person that is before you right now, the person who is happy, even through her pain, she's happy. And when my doctor put me on this medication, she seen a different side of me, which is a side that no one has ever really seen. Like, because I've never been on medication like this. She asked me a question, like it was right around the time my daughter's birthday. My daughter passed away years ago, and I was trying something different. My boss, she was like, "We're gonna celebrate your daughter's birthday this year." So I was like, "Okay." So I was trying something different, and she asked me something. I don't remember any of this. She told me this. This is why I'm relaying the message. She told me she asked me something. I was in the kitchen in the refrigerator, and she asked me something. And she said the look that I gave her was something straight out of a horror movie. That when she told me that, once I have been off of that medication, that killed my heart because I felt so bad. Like I hugged her and I held on to her and I cried and I apologized because I'm not that person. She said I gave her the most evil look she has ever seen. And she was afraid to even speak to me. Taking that medication, I stopped eating. I was supposed to take my tramadol 3 times a day. Well, that didn't really happen because the amitriptyline would have me sleep almost a whole day. Like I'd be asleep for just about 19 to 20 hours. By the time I wake up, it's dark. So now I have to eat. I'm not hungry. I have to eat so I can take my pill. And then I go back to sleep. I was a zombie on this medication. I was not Shia. I was a whole different person. I didn't know who I was. I was just a zombie. And I I I don't know. I don't know what possessed my doctor to give me this medication. But there were times when, unbeknownst to me, I would just get up. It could be early in the morning or like late at night or whatever. I would get in my car and just randomly go somewhere. I don't remember leaving my apartment. I don't remember grabbing my car keys. I don't even know if I had my driver's license half the time. I don't know where I was going. There was nothing that I needed, nothing that I wanted. But I would get into my car high on this medication and just go somewhere. And then come back. And then when I wake up out of my deep sleep, I'm looking around my room and in my kitchen like, where did all these bags come from? Because I don't remember leaving. I don't remember having my wallet. I don't remember grabbing my car keys and putting it in my pocket because I didn't really carry a purse. I'm not a purse person. But I don't remember grabbing my keys and putting my keys in my pocket to go to the store. I don't remember getting out of bed, but I would do it. And my mom, well, yeah, my mom, she called me one day to check on me to see how I was doing. because I had to quit my job because of the herniated disc. It started to really just give me a lot of issues. Excuse me. It just gave me a lot of issues, and I couldn't work anymore. Like I couldn't do it. And so my mom called, and she wanted to see how her baby girl was doing. I think my dad was studying or something. And my mother told me when she initially called, the voice that she heard on the other end of the phone was not her daughter. She said I sounded demon possessed. Now, once again, for me to hear something like that, that killed my heart. Like, I couldn't go to church because I was always, like, it would be hard to wake me up. And I'm the type of person, I don't like to be late for church. I don't. I don't like to be late for church. Now, unless I am stuck in traffic because of an accident or because of weather and I'm running a little bit late, it's not the fact that I left home late. No, because I leave home early and I take the back roads because I love to go to church. People are on time for everything else. They're on time for their job. They're on time for their hair and nail appointments and everything else. People are going to be on time for what they love. I love to go to church. So I wanted to make sure I was on time. I couldn't even go to church because I could not wake up. I would go to bed and it's dark. I wake up and it's dark. I just slept a whole day. A whole day. But when my mother told me that the voice that came on the other side of the phone from me sounded like I was demon possessed, that killed my heart. That was like another knife that just went through my heart. And she said that I told her I had a nosebleed. And I think she said like she said she didn't really stay on the phone that long because she didn't like the way that I was sounding. I didn't sound like her child. And then she said not 5 minutes after she had got off the phone with me, I called her back and I sound just like I sound right now, like her child. I don't remember talking to her. That's how messed up that medicine had me. Like, I'm telling you, I was a different person. I was not Shia. I was a whole different person. I don't know who I was on that medication. So, my dad told me to stop taking it for a week. Let the medicine get out of my system before I get behind the wheel of my car and go to my doctor. So I did that. I let stop taking the medicine. I let it get out of work its way out of my system, so I can tell my doctor what's been going on. I don't know from myself. I'm going off of what my roommate and my parents are telling me. So she took me off of the amitriptyline, and she kept me on the tramadol for pain, and she put me on gabapentin 300 milligrams, Zoloft 50 milligrams. What's that other one? Hydroxyzine 50 milligrams. Whatever. I think it was 50. Something like that. But yeah. So now I have three mood stabilizers flowing around in my system. Gabapentin is used for nerve issues. But I'm the type of person, I like to look at the side effects. I don't just go off that little bitty fact sheet they give you because that's not all of the side effects. I went on WebMD and I typed in gabapentin. I printed out 4 pages of side effects alone. Just side effects. I was like, okay. Out of all of those side effects, I had a great deal that happened to me because gabapentin will alter your mood. Zoloft is an antidepressant. Hydroxyzine is an anxiety pill. I gotta sit up for this one. I'm not depressed. I don't have anxiety issues. I have nerve damage, yes. So the gabapentin probably would have worked fine by itself with the tramadol. But seeing that gabapentin can also alter your mood, cause seizures, can put you in a coma, and so many other side effects. Like, it's 4 pages worth. If you don't know, just Google gabapentin. GABAPENTIN. Yeah, I think that's how you spell it. Gabapentin. Google it. And just look up side effects. 4 pages of just side effects. And you'll see all the things it can do to alter your mood. Well, the gabapentin also causes weight gain. Now, I had lost a lot of weight, but because of the gabapentin, I gained. Like, my weight would fluctuate. I'd gain a few pounds, and then I'd drop. And then I'd gain about 5, and I'd lose 2. And I'd gain 5 more, and I might lose 1. Like, my weight was just all over the place because of that medication. And it's not that I was eating, because I wasn't eating anything. I was barely eating cereal. I will eat cereal all day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If I ate breakfast, I have to start actually eating breakfast. That's one thing about me that I know I need to change is actually eating breakfast. But I gained weight, my mood changed, I was not eating, and now I'm having suicidal thoughts and 2 attempts. I had 2 suicidal attempts. Now, like I said, I've never I've never been the suicidal type, and I've never been on antidepressants. I've never had to speak to a therapist. I've never had to deal with any of that because, like, if I get upset or aggressively upset, someone has done something or said something to me to set me off. Now, with that, I'll do one or two things. I will either, one, play some Gears of War and put your face on every locust that I'm popping in right in between their eyes, or hacking with a chainsaw, or I will, two, grab my poetry book that's from my eyes only and write out all my emotions and close it up and put it away. That's what I do. So I've never had the need for a psychiatrist, for antidepressants. I've never had any like, I'm not that type of person that's like, hey, I'm going to just end it all because I can't take it anymore. Like, I I started channeling my emotions into words from a very young age because I was bullied for the simple fact that I was a preacher's daughter and I was different. I don't behave or speak the same way the majority of people of the black race behave or speak. And I was picked on because of that. I was a nerd. So I'm picked on again because I'm a nerd. So, like, I channeled all my emotions into words from a very young age. So, I've never just sat here and tried to put a gun to my head or hang myself or cut myself or whatever. And do not take this as me putting those people down because that is in no way, shape, form, or fashion what I am doing. I lost two of my friends that did not get a chance to walk across the stage because they killed themselves. Like, that is a very sensitive subject for me. And for me to be in that state, I I can't even imagine what went on in my parents' head when they seen me. Well, my mom seen it first. And this part I remember. I remember all the way up until this part, and the rest my parents told me. My parents and my roommate told me. I I was finishing up my homework because it was a Thursday night. It was Grey's Anatomy. Now, I had my mom, we were video chatting, and I told her, I was like, hold on a minute. I was like, you gonna see me moving around or whatever. I said something like that. Because it's Grey's Anatomy time. And she's like, oh, well, let me let you go because I know how you watch your Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, oh, you gotta go nowhere. It's still on commercials. Excuse me. Because, like, they do that. They will, like, drag out a doggone commercial, like, till the last millisecond. I'm like, no, we're not starting this a minute or a second early. Nope. We said 7 o'clock. It is 6:59. It is 57 seconds. Bruh. But anyways. So she was still online with me. I don't know what happened because I never got a chance to see that episode of Grey's Anatomy that night. I don't know what happened. But my mom told me that I went from being excited about my show coming on to being in this position, like, I'm doing this and I'm saying, make the voices stop, make the voices stop, make the voices stop. I'm holding my head and I'm rocking back and forth because there are voices in my head. I don't have voices in my head that talk to me and tell me to harm myself. But here I am in my room, and I have voices in my head. My parents were all the way in Georgia. I'm in Kentucky. I had to get rushed to the ER. I was escorted by the police. Well, I was actually in the ambulance, but the police were still there because I was on suicide watch. Because I was on antidepressants. And this was the second time that I had to go and speak to a therapist. I'm not going to get into the first time because I don't even want to talk about that therapist. Like, she did nothing. Like, there was no conversation. I could have done a better job, and that's what I'm majoring in. Like, I already have a degree in it, but like, seriously, I could have done a better job. My dog could have done a better job. But I was told by my roommate and by my therapist, once I calmed down, I started to notice there were bruises all all over my arm, like from my wrist all the way down my arm and on the back side and like all the way up my hand. These bruises came from me biting my flesh. Because the voices were telling me to. I've never been in this situation. I've talked to people in this situation. I've dealt with people in that situation. But me personally, I've never been in that situation. So I didn't really know how to handle that. I noticed that there was a bruise around my neck right in here. It's not there anymore. There was a bruise right here around my neck. And it wasn't, I know I didn't do it, but it looked like someone had taken like a cell phone charger, like the cord, the round one, not the flat one, and put it around my neck and held it there to try and choke me. This is when my parents were like, we need to get her before we lose her. am I'm blessed to have wonderful parents. I'm blessed to still be alive right now because I was in a situation that I could have died. And had my parents decided to wait, if my mom had gotten off of Skype with me, I probably would have killed myself. And they would have found me in my room. Not just because it was just too much with the pain and everything else that I'm going through. It was the medication. I've never been on antidepressants. I've never had a need for antidepressants. So I'm glad my mom stayed on Skype with me for those extra minutes because she saved my life. My dad saved my life. My roommate saved my life. If I didn't have great people in my life, I'd be dead right now. I'd be dead right now because of the medication that I was on. My medical issues are, as of today, I have a bulging disc in my neck, lower part of my neck, like right at the base. I have arthritis, scoliosis, a herniated disc, nerve damage. That's from the neck and the spine. My knees, they grind on a day-to-day basis because of lack of cartilage. They used to pop. Like, my knees don't even pop anymore. They just grind and is, oh my gosh. It's gross. Like, it is, I'm not gonna lie, it's gross. Like, to feel it, to hear it, it's every day. And now, the muscles on the outer part of my right knee have become more relaxed. So it is very, very hard for me to put weight or any type of pressure on this side because it will cause my entire right side from the hip all the way down to my feet to go numb. So with sleeping, for me to get comfortable, it's impossible. I'll be up till like the next day because I can't get comfortable. Now my left hip, it feels as if the bone is pressing forward just to look like it's not drastic, but it's enough to know, okay, something's not quite right here. So I have that issue. But it's uncomfortable, it's unbearable. And honestly, I didn't really want to put myself out there like that, but you know what? There are some times when your story can help other people. Like, you never know what issues that you may have going on or what issues that you've been through can help subside other people's issues. Like, you never know what a person is going through. Like, for people who deal with suicidal thoughts on a regular basis, who who cut themselves or who punish themselves, who pop pills because they feel that no one loves them, or like whatever reason that they have behind it. You never know what a person is going through. Like, don't go around judging people for what they do. Talk to that person instead of sitting around going, oh my god, like, do you know she was in here trying to kill herself? Talk to that person. Stop talking down on people like you're so much better. You may not have these issues, you may not be cutting yourself, or you may not, pop pills, or you may not have a drinking issue, or you may not have a smoking issue, But you have issues. You're not perfect. There is no one on the face of this earth who is 100% perfect.